you guys might be scratching your heads. Bear with me, guys, please. I have this next matchup face off against Nick Diaz. UK MMA fans are happy today after Dana White said this in an interview.
Fights lined up for the UK fans, and I'm excited to get back there.
Are you thinking fight night, or are you thinking numbered card, seeing as that you just said we've got two champions?
Number card, buddy. Number card, pay-per-view.
That's what I like.
Dana White, yes, has confirmed that in July I think we could all assume it's in July, that there is going to be a UK pay-per-view. Last time we got one of these was between Usman and Leon Edwards, and I'm going to be honest, guys, I thought the pay-per-view itself was disappointing. It didn't have a lot of UK talent just because of scheduling issues, and to me, I think that we are at a time and place where we could actually stack this card, and it could actually be realistically good. Like, there are some realistic options that we could put on this card and some dream matchups that could be put on the card as well. So today I made the best pay-per-view card we could have in the UK in July based on who's available, based on some of the upcoming matchups. Now we're gonna get into here. I'm gonna give you guys my main card, what I think should be on the card, and let me know what fights that I didn't mention that should be added to the fights as well, you know, especially the prelims. Before we get into it, I want to remind you guys that the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, guys. We're almost at 12K, guys. You guys have been supporting the channel like crazy. The last few videos have been going crazy. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for the comments. I read all the comments, and make sure to go in the link in the description to check out the Discord, guys. We have so many conversations there. I like to send some chats there, talk to you guys there, so join it. The link will be in the description. But like I said, guys, it has been a while since the UFC has brought a pay-per-view to the UK, right? The last time it was around a year ago, right, between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I had said around that time, hey, it sucks because the timing did not work well. I feel like they couldn't stack the card with big UK fighters, and now I feel like this is a really good time to say, hey, in July we could really stack this thing because we got two champions from the UK in the UFC. And in this video I try to make some realistic matchups, and I have one matchup that I know is going to leave a lot of people scratching their heads thinking, Jack, what are you talking about? But bear with me, guys. I'm excited to break it down. Then let's just get into it. Opening up the pay-per-view, guys, I have chose Arnold Allen versus Giga Chazz. Now, Arnold Allen is obviously coming off of a very close loss against Mozart Evolov. It was very close. Could have gone either way if we're going to be honest. And Giga Chazz was supposed to fight Josh Emmett all the way back in December, but pulled his groin or something like that. Now, of course, I'm not an expert. I don't know how long these things take to recover from, but I'm going to assume that he will be good for July. Arnold Allen has not fought since January. He's already had about 2 months off. I don't see it being a problem, and especially if we're going to the UK, I think you got to put Arnold Allen on that card. And it's a fun matchup. Both guys are strikers. I mean, maybe Arnold Allen mixes in a takedown, but I expect this fight to be mostly on the feet. And yeah, I don't know who would win this one. It would be close because Arnold Allen is very good, even though he just lost his last fight. If he would have beat Mosvar, he would have been up there for title contention. So I would go with this matchup. I think it's fun. Giga's a big name, Arnold's a big name, and I think you open up the pay-per-view with a bang. All right, the second fight of this pay-per-view, I'm going to do Paddy Pimblett versus Drew Dober. Now, Paddy Pimblett, man, I mean, the guy has fought a lot of guys recently, but none of them have been ranked. I mean, let's be honest. He fought Tony Ferguson. That was probably the best competition he has fought. So now it's time for him to get a top 15 ranking. I don't really see how they can give him an unranked opponent right now. And Drew Dober is coming off of a loss to Renato Moicano, where he did struggle with the grappling, so perhaps Paddy could out-grapple him. I mean, this matchup doesn't seem as one-sided as it did at one point in time. There is a method to victory, and to be honest, the UFC, what they usually do with these big stars, they kind of handpick competition to give their guys the best matchup possible, right? I mean, look at Sean O'Malley, right? Sean O'Malley fought Aurelian Paiva to get to the top 15, fought Pedro Munoz, which that was no contest, and then he fought Piotr Jan. Like, notice that he is skipping all of the grapplers and is getting these very handpicked matchups that play into his favor. And I'm not trying to diss Sean O'Malley, guys, right? Like, I think Sean O'Malley is very good. I've given him tons of props on the channel, but I'm just saying this is what they like to do. And I think Drew Dober definitely falls into that category. And I think it's an interesting enough matchup to put on the pay-per-view. There is risk for Paddy and there's risk for Drew Dober too. It is not an easy matchup for both guys. And yeah, so I think the best matchup you can make right now is Drew Dober versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, guys, I know you guys might be scratching your heads. Bear with me, guys, please. I have this next matchup, and this is going to be the featured bout. I am having Michael Venom Page on the featured bout face off against Nick Diaz. I know, alright, everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? Have you gone insane? I thought you said this was a realistic matchup. Guys, Nick Diaz has been teasing that he's got a fight coming up, alright? And to my knowledge, he is still under contract with the UFC. And he's looking a lot more slim. I know his last fight was at 185 against Robbie Lawler, but keep in mind that fight was supposed to be at 170. Michael Venom Page is at 170. Michael Venom Page is an older guy. That's a fair matchup. And I would probably wind up picking Michael Venom Page, especially how Nick Diaz looked in his last fight. But I think if you're going to give him any big name matchup, I mean, guys, name a better matchup right now. Maybe you guys can in the comment section below, and I'll say, yeah, guys, I was wrong. But I think this is a fun matchup. A big name for Michael Venom Page. A really cool matchup. Both guys are legends in a way. If Michael Venom Page beats Nick Diaz, maybe he gets a top 5 fight. And it would be an awesome fight to bring to the UK. And I'm going to be honest, guys, the top 2 fights, you know, I think you guys have kind of a similar idea of where I'm going to go with this. But let's be honest, honest, the two UK champions aren't exactly mega superstars, so I think Nick Diaz could add some light to this pay-per-view, make it just a little bit bigger, and help carry the pay-per-view that way. And it's a fun matchup, like I said, guys. I mean, come on, who would not want to see this fight? I can see people maybe saying, hey, this is a one-sided matchup, I don't like it for that reason, and that I could say, okay, fine, I can see your point there. But from a hype perspective, yeah, this would be a fun matchup to have, and they're both old guys. This isn't like a young prospect going up against Nick Diaz. Michael Venom Page is 35, maybe even 36. I don't know how old Nick Diaz is, I'll put it on the screen, but he's up there in age as well. So I think this would be a fun matchup to add to the card, plus it brings MVP to the UK with the UFC. It just makes him that much bigger. I think that's the direction they should go. And for the co-main event, I'm going to have Tom Aspinall defend his interim title, aka the real heavyweight title, against Curtis Blades. Now, this is a rematch, guys. Remember, the last fight that they had, Curtis Blades and Tom Aspinall did fight in the UK in July, but Tom Aspinall tore his ACL about 15 seconds or so into the fight, and that fight was looking like a barn burner. We saw both guys throwing in the pocket, throwing hard. Curtis Blades coming off an impressive win against Jailton Almeida. I think a lot of people counted out Curtis Blades, not me. I actually went as I predicted, not to flex on you guys. But in all seriousness, guys, he is coming off of a good performance. Curtis Blades is always down to fight everybody. He's fought the who's who. Give him this opportunity against Tom Aspinall, and Tom Aspinall obviously has looked so good. He is one of the best heavyweights, if not the best heavyweight right now. I think he's better than Stipe for sure. If Tom Aspinall makes Curtis Blades look easy, and he's not an interim champion anymore, he is a champion with John Jones. They are the same level, and arguably already the same level. If we're gonna be honest, really the main event should be John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, because that is a realistic possibility. I think John Jones should be recovering around May or so. It is maybe too fast of a turnaround, but they're not going to do that. Of course, they're going to do the Stipe John Jones matchup for some unknown reason, but I would make that the co-main event, and the main event, of course, would be Leon Edwards versus who? Belal Muhammad. Let's all sigh together, guys. I'm sorry that I had to make this the main event, guys, but it makes sense for multiple reasons. I did consider putting Tom Aspinall as the main event, but look, Leon Edwards, I think, is a little bit more established and also has a legit title. Even though I consider Tom Aspinall the champ, a lot of people consider him still as just an interim champion. I think you give Leon the spotlight. He's defended his title multiple times, and Belal Muhammad, I know a lot of people might be like, oh man, we really got to see this fight. Yes, guys, we have to see this fight. Belal Muhammad has been promised the title shot, and yes, for the UFC 300, I don't think that he was offered. I think, yeah, Belal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards for UFC 300 would have been laughed at, but for a normal card, guys, like I said, this fight has to happen. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, we're all gonna have to suffer through it. Both guys finished absolutely nobody. Yeah, it's gonna suck, guys, but it has to happen. I actually don't mind the matchup that much. They do have history together. I know the two don't like each other because of the whole eye poke situation, and yeah, Leon Edwards did look very good in that Belal Muhammad fight, but you gotta consider Belal Muhammad did take that fight on short notice, and obviously Belal Muhammad is a bit older now. I mean, now he's actually over that 35-year age, so I think that has to be the main event just for that reason. Belal does deserve a title shot. The guy is on an incredible winning streak. Let's get this fight over with, and honestly, there isn't a better matchup at welterweight right now. Like, what other matchup are we really gonna have? The only other thing I was thinking of was Islam versus Leon. That would have been an amazing UK pay-per-view card, of course, but I think that Islam Makhachev is probably gonna be fighting in June. So looking at the card, I'm gonna put it back on the screen. We got the main event between Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad. We got another rematch between Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. Funny how both fights actually ended controversially. And we got MVP versus Nick Diaz, Paddy Pimblett versus Drew Dober, and to open up the card, Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. Maybe put some Molly McCanns on the prelims, people like that, and then you got a pretty banger card in front of you. Before we wrap this up, I want to read some of the top comments on the last video. The last video I made was about Ryan Garcia, that whole situation with him and Devon Haney, and how they're selling absolutely no tickets for that show. Let's look at the top comments right now. Haney's most recent event did very poor regarding ticket sales. Apparently they were giving tickets away, and it was Haney's quote-unquote hometown. This should be in either Vegas or Southern California, and I did hear that rumor too, actually. I did hear that rumor at one point that they actually were giving away tickets for Devon Haney's show, his last fight, whatever that was, and apparently it was his hometown. I don't know where he's from, but my point is yeah, guys, in my video, in hindsight, reading some of your comments, I do have to say, you guys brought up a good point. I didn't really mention Devon Haney in the video, and to me, I feel like that kind of went without saying. I do like Devon Haney a lot. I think he's very talented. I think he's one of the best boxers right now in that division, but he isn't a draw, and I didn't point that out in the video because honestly, in my mind, that kind of just goes without saying, and I don't mean to be mean to Devon Haney, but it's 100% true. Obviously, if this was a Gervonta Davis, this fight would probably sell a little bit more. I don't know how much more, because I do think that Ryan Garcia's antics have had a lot to do with the fight not doing so well, so I think it's a mix of both, but yeah, I definitely should have talked about Devon Haney a little bit more in that video. Another reason why boxing is a dying sport compared to MMA. Boxing fans are definitely raging right now, but yeah, I agree. Obviously, I am a bigger MMA fan. I was a bigger boxing fan at one point, but it's just the politics of boxing, man. The business of boxing. I know Saudi is saving it, but I don't think that Saudi is going to be there forever. I think at one point, Saudi Arabia is going to stop these boxing events because there's no way that they're making any profit. There's no way that Francis Ngannou is bringing over 20 million worth of revenue to them. It's not a good business model. I know they have a lot of money, but I don't suspect they'll be doing this for the rest of eternity. Last comment I want to read. Brother, you're so knowledgeable. I'm just curious, you ever think of having a fighter's body? Maybe one cycle of steroids to burn body fat? You seem so knowledgeable. Just saying, brother. Please don't take this personal. Love how you look, brother. Just curious. Now, this this comment actually had me laughing. Like, what are we talking about here? First of all, have I ever considered having a fighter's body? Yeah, definitely I have. It's not like I'm here saying, you know what, I'm not trying to get ripped like that, you know what I mean? But no, I'm not going to be taking steroids, guys. I saw some of you guys replying to this, yeah, like, just laughing, guys. At the end of the day, I don't think this is even a hate comment. I just think it's just funny. Like, what was going on? No, I'm not going to take steroids, but I appreciate you still like how I look, so I think I'm going to stay this way, guys. No steroids for me. But if I randomly started looking like the Liver King, I think you guys will know something's up. Guys, thank you guys for watching. That video is going to be on the screen right now. Go click that right now and help support the channel, guys. You guys are the best fan base to MMA. Like I said, go on the link in the description, join the Discord server, and talk to us there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.